Hello, welcome back to Ben Sushi Live Nodding. In this episode, we're gonna talk about disparity or something that's you might have heard something called parallax. So disparity is a word that I heard a lot since I watched the presentation at WWDC on Apple, how they can use the iPhone 7 Plus or 8 Plus with dual camera to create some kind of a depth map in real time. With iPhone 10, 10s, 10, 10R, they also able to create like a depth map on the fly using the true depth front camera. I can actually demonstrate that really quickly using the iPhone 7 Plus. I'll do a screen mirroring very quickly. So this is my 7 Plus, and I will be using an app called DepthCam. And there you go. That's the keyboard of my MacBook Pro, and you can see my hand, and you can see there's that thing over there on the left, bottom left. It's trying to estimate the depth map simply by, if I move to the left and the right, it's gonna create a depth map that's kind of a little bit more accurate. If I go to the left here, I have a lot of messy stuff going on. But if I go to the left and to the right, it's gonna try to estimate the depth. And it's using the dual camera of 7 Plus. Let me turn that off. But so I'm kind of curious if I can actually do something similar to that. And let me disconnect this, turn this off. And what we have here is an example. It's a stereo pair of image, and I kind of want to create something similar to that. If you look at this image and then kind of cross your eyes and then kind of look at it closely, you can see it creates 3D. Same thing with this image. And so I did a bit of research. So if you want to do research as well, search for disparity and search also for parallax, and then try to understand the difference between the two. So there's this one that's really good. Parallax is optical; it exists out there, while disparity is what you or your computer think of it. So this disparity, or it's basically the difference between the two images based on the parallax itself. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it tries to find similar points between two images and then kind of estimate the depth map. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I did a bit of research, and then I found out that there's a tool that's already doing this from the creator of StereoPhotoMaker. I believe he's a Japanese guy, but this one only works on Windows PC. It doesn't work on Mac. So this is example: stereo image, stereo pair, left and right. You can kind of estimate the depth, and it's pretty accurate for most of the time. So DMAG will work with a SPM or StereoPhotoMaker. And if you use Windows, I believe you can use this tool. So I look around and try to find, there are a few tools out there, but there's one that's the most accessible is this one right here from OpenCV. So depth map from stereo images. Okay, so yeah, this is the Python code using OpenCV module that can extract the depth map. So from this example, it looks that I can achieve something that's kind of accurate. And I believe I can really use this as well to create a 3D photo for Facebook. So this is one reason why I want to try to do this. So from the example over here, this is the the simplest example. I don't get this smooth quality though. It has a lot of noise, and it also has a lot of hole. And so I look around, and first of all, this code is wrong. Create stereo BM has been replaced with a stereo BM create. So that's the command. And then I look around, and there is also another example. This one, stereo mesh. This is a more complex example. It will actually create a point cloud as well. But it doesn't. This code doesn't work on my computer. Somehow I have problem with the Qt module. So anyhow, I look around. There's another blog post. This one over here by Timotheus Samardzidis. Basically, this one has example that works on my computer. He fills the hole of the depth map using this filter. Yeah, so basically what is this anything to do with Blender? Because first of all, when I run the script and using the OpenCV module, what I'm getting is something like this, right? Very, very noisy. I cannot really use it. And then I even try to smooth it using GIMP or photop.com. So this is what I get. It's not very good, but even this is the best I can get out of it. And I think this is the code that I used before. So providing the left and right stereo pair image, and then there's this this code with all the parameter. And I've been using Python, and then just run the Python code. It's not very intuitive. This is where I kind of think, okay, this has to be a node, because with the node I can have this parameter. This is like a big difference. I know with Python and what is this? I forgot the name. You can also create some kind of interface with slider, but I think using Sverchok add-on and Blender, I know that I can easily create this slider parameter. This actually changed things a lot. You see, I just bring the code into Blender and Sverchok add-on, and then this is the thing that generates the parameter. So this is the result that I can get from these two pair of image. You can see this this Pomeranian dogs. You can see there's a left and right. It's pretty good. There's a slight movement, but I think this actually worked out pretty well. Currently, this is the result, but I can smooth it further using some parameter. So increasing this sigma, and I believe I need to increase the lambda also, and you can see this is so much better. And I turned some of the parameter down here into something that I can slide, but this is if I start from this value, okay, that's number of this disparity multiplier. This number needs to be multiplied by 16, but you can see here as a note, it's kind of doing it in real time. There's this black area, that's the part where the image get cropped. So there is no disparity there. There is no information or data. That's why it's kind of doing that. And then there's this block size. I can make it to 1 or make it to 10. See, it's almost real time. It's not actually real time. It's calculating pretty fast with a OpenCV module. And there's this window variable. I believe window variable should be 3, 5, 7, or 15. But I like number 5. I think it's pretty good. And there's a uniqueness ratio speckle. I didn't use that much because I think this image doesn't have a lot of noise, so it's pretty clear. even though it's pretty smooth, right? Yeah, I should actually try using a different image, but yeah, the result of this is basically I turn it in Sverchok, I turn it into a list. This is actually a NumPy array, and then I divide it by 255, so I get this value. And the thing with originally this image is also upside down, so I flip the image over here. That's the only thing that I did. And if I want, I can actually write this out using I am right. So yeah, like I said, originally I'm just running this script, example script from this blog over here. Have a read. It's actually have a good explanation about disparity, I think. But so by running the script, it's fine. I can change the value manually and then rerun the script. I know I can use Jupyter Notebook and then create a parameter as well, but I like this as a node. That's why I bring it into Blender and Sverchok add-on, and then now it's becoming almost like interactive. It could be better if I actually can import the stereo pair into Blender, left and right pair, and then maybe I have a sequence of image, and then I can generate the depth map. So that's actually the idea. The thing that's actually interesting is that if you have the depth map and then you have the original image, you can kind of combine the two. I'll show you on the iPhone. Okay, back to iPhone. And I've been using a lot of app that's kind of dealing with the depth, but this one does it really, really well. DepthCam actually just recently got updated, so you can take the image that's flat, doesn't have any depth, and then you can import the depth map that you generated earlier. Oops, there we go, this one. And if they are in ratio 4:3, it will simply work. I mean, this is not perfect. This is like estimating the depth, right? Simply by using the stereo pair of image. But you can then export this out. Oh, I'm saving it in the wrong way. I using the right bottom right button there. I can save Facebook 3D photo. That's the thing. Save as Facebook 3D photo. Now you can actually upload it into Facebook. Yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. Recent phone like iPhone 10 XR, XS, also Google Pixel 3, and then I think Huawei or some, they all able to take like a photo with the depth data. So far only the iPhone or the iOS can upload it as a 3D photo into Facebook. Because with the iOS, I believe it's actually capturing point cloud data. So that's also kind of interesting. But anyhow, so you can do this kind of a stereo pair conversions into depth map. You can give this a try. I can actually try using a different image. Very, very quickly, go to Flickr and then find a stereoscopic. So I get an album with lots of stereo image. Actually, this guy over here this one is pretty good. This one was actually captured using the iPhone 10, and I turn it into stereo image. So it's kind of the opposite of what we are doing. But I have a lot of this stereoscopic image, and they are all kind of wrong. I need to kind of tweak it first. They can make a good example. None of them works properly. I think you need to bring it into an app called i3D Steroid, and then kind of fix the position, and then you get a 3D, and then you can get this disparity. Maybe I can even get this one to work. So let's save the original image. Okay, so file, save or export. I call this bike stereo, and oops, turn this off. And let's use SPM StereoPhotoMaker app. I don't know if this is gonna be showing properly while I'm capturing, because this app is a little bit strange. It's using Wine app, and maybe it's gonna be displaying blank. Anyhow, I will open bike stereo and then kind of separate the two images. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that, but anyhow, you take a stereo pair of image yourself and then kind of try to generate it. I will use this dog image instead, and then paste it here. So this is stereo left and right. Let me save as new blend and then refresh. Okay, it's generating this weird noise, but outside I think I get the depth. I can tweak the depth over here. This is wrong because the size, I believe I need to know the size exactly. Where's the print? I believe I am printing this shape over here. So let me quickly refresh. So there's a lot of error message, but the shape is over there, 1194780. Okay. Anyway, it's not giving me any result over there. Don't worry about texture viewer. I'm just gonna cut it. We should be able to see the result over here anyway, because it's saving the image. So every time if it's updating, it's gonna save the image over here. Let me try zero this out. There you go. Okay, it seems to be working. A sigma should be a small value. I think lambda can be very high. So that's kind of the thing that's generate a blurring and kind of fills the gap. And we can look at different number of disparity multiplier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it started to generate the depth map based on the stereo pair. So that's the whole process. I'll give you the blend file, but in order for this to work, I'm using Blender 2.79. This is not Blender 2.8. So 2.79 with a Python 3.7. Okay, so that's also important. There you go, Python 3 0.7. And in order for this to work, you also need to have OpenCV module outside of Blender externally, which I actually called over here, up here. So requirement OpenCV modules, SkyKit learn module. You need to import the SkyKit and then assign it into the path within Blender environment. Now it's gonna call the module from outside, and then I can run all this Python. It's complicated, I know, slightly, but I'm not a coder or programmer as well. And then this code, I think, is pretty easy to use once it's become like a node. So it's gonna be doing these updates. Yeah, it's a matter of tweaking the parameter and running the nodes, and you can get a disparity or depth map, kind of something like this. Anyhow, so there you go. That's a quick rundown of what I've been doing. This is slightly complicated, so if you want it to be the easiest, of course, is to use the this one from StereoPhotoMaker. Find the tools called depth map auto generator, DMAG, and then you can just run it. There's a YouTube video that's also explaining what's the tool, how to use the tool. But I'm using this OpenCV one again, and this example is very, very helpful from Timotheus. And yeah, that's basically it. It's just, I want to show you can do this inside Blender kind of simply by piping the Python code and then having all this parameter. Thanks to Sverchok add-on, it makes everything pretty easy. You can also use animation nodes for this. And in Blender 2.8, this probably gonna be faster and in real time, believe it or not. But anyhow, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.